so
But
undeniable, and then they have to sponsor.
Right.
But
Right,
you got to
right,
prove
right.
the product. And I guess that's
right.
what that was the thing with this, is like I had no fucking clue how it was going to work.
Right.
I never done it. I know for a fact Louis had done it, but I don't even know Louis' numbers.
Right.
And I felt too embarrassed to like ask, hey, how much money did you make? I
Louis,
feel like I
Louis
was
is tough
stepping-
to compare to in any way.
Also, he's a
it's like,
fucking
he's Louis.
superstar,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And it's like
you could be at your best, and it's still, you compare yourself to Louis is like
it's like his recognizability and even scandal along with it. Like you want to know what happened with
Right,
that, you know?
right,
So
right.
you're like, there's so much curiosity. Like if Chris Rock puts his shit behind a paywall for what happened with the Will Smith, I'm paying every single fucking
dollar,
time.
yeah.
So
That was crazy with the Louis one too, where he waited until like 50 minutes in. So he put out like sorry, and then
Yeah.
you're like well, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Just didn't address it for
Yeah.
like 45 minutes.
But
Like,
that's because he is so undeniable. That's like on draft night being like, can I talk to Michael Jordan about his experience so I know what to do? It's like,
Right.
bro, relax,
Yeah.
But there is some, obviously, a lot of... I also feel, though, like, once you...
this is what the people want.
Was there a part of you
Yeah.
that as soon as you realized this was happening, you were like, yes.
Realize what is happening.
Like you were gonna... I know you had to take a huge cash outlay and a big risk, but I don't even think it was a risk. I think you knew pretty quickly that you were going to make it back.
I didn't know that I was going to make. I started crunching numbers, and I was like, okay, I have a Patreon that has 20,000 subscribers. That means that every month 20,000 people are paying money.
Right.
So there's that many
So
people,
those people
that
will
pay
pay.
for online
Yeah.
content. So I feel pretty confident that they will. Right? But I don't know for sure, but that gives me some confidence. Doing the road really lets you know where you are.
Right.
If
you're
you're
selling
part of,
out all the time, people and that's paid tickets.
Exactly.
So you get a
That's a
fraction of
babysitter.
them.
That's-
right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
They
They paid
invested-
money to go out.
that's
Yeah,
their
yeah.
weekend,
Buy a ticket
right?
and get a babysitter. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so-
you get a fraction of them paying, plus that 20, plus
And then you start to
some
put those
strays.
things
Then,
together.
so, but I'm just saying, like we said before, like,
But the
you could-
story
if you-
around
if
it-
you, if you
yeah.
spent whatever money on marketing
yes.
to come up with a story that good, you wouldn't, you know what I
No,
mean?
you couldn't.
You couldn't. So
Yeah.
was there a point where you were like, this sucks and it's kind of fucked
When
up, but
they-
also now I've got this fucking story that is better than any marketing ever?
Well, when it initially happened, I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know if I was going to try to get another thing. I didn't know
Right,
whatever. So
right.
initially, I'm thinking when it happened, I'm like, okay, this is the right thing to do for comedy. It's the right thing to do for jokes. I've never watered down my jokes. I've had my jokes only on YouTube. Keep this in mind. I've never done a stand-up special for a network.
Right, where they
So
tell
I've-
you what to change
Exactly.
or tell you what to do or whatever.
The
Yeah.
people know me from me putting my stuff out exactly the way I
Right.
want it. So I'm not going to change
Netflix
that.
didn't touch anything when you did that one?
Well, I didn't consider that stand-up.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's
Right?
different. Yeah.
I was
Right,
doing
right,
the turn your phone videos, but it wasn't like stand up
Your jokes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
specifically.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm
right.
saying? And it was much more like political and like nuanced and like researched and all that other stuff. This is
Right.
this is pure stand up,
Right.
right? Like so basically I'm looking at this story and I'm like, okay, this is great to be standing up for jokes, but I still don't know where it's going to go.
Right.
It wasn't until after where I was like, I think that people will appreciate this idea.
Yeah.
And that did factor into it because I'm like, I think this is something that people are willing to stand by. And I think they're tired of the censor shit. And once they felt what comedy can be like, what sports can be like, what everything can be like without the condom on, because that's all it is when you're with
Once
the
you
network.
get a taste of the real shit, you're like, yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Once
yeah,
you take the condom off, you're not going back.
Right.
So, and I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what happened, obviously, with you guys. It's what happened with shit. You can even look at like Wall Street bets, what they did to like cause disruption in like financial markets.
Yeah.
Like all these things are
You go
happening.
right to the source. You get the real deal. It's like your cocaine's not cut anymore. You get the real shit.
Once you get the real shit, you can't go back to the cut. It just
Right.
feels weird. It's like
Right.
watching like a monologue from like Jimmy Kimmel now,
sorry.
and it's like what is happening?
Yeah,
You're like
yeah,
on
yeah.
a,
We used
am
to
I
like
on a
this
cruise
shit?
ship?
Yeah.
Like
Right,
what the
right.
fuck am I
This is a bar
watching right
mitzvah
now?
here? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
knock jokes on
Right,
TV, and
right.
you just can't
It's
believe
terrible.
it because you've actually heard wild jokes
Right.
on a fucking podcast.
Right.